I mean, that's why I think this thing is gonna, change the world. Hey, quick note before I go any further. This is not a sponsored video, but some of the products in this video and some of the products that I'm going to use in a giveaway were supplied to me by Vintage King and IK Multimedia. Big thanks to both of them, but I just want to make it clear, these are 100% my opinions in this video, good, bad. It's my opinion. No one's paying me to say anything in here. Hey, what's up, dudes? HW here. This is ToneX. Or rather, this is the ToneX pedal. ToneX is software. It's part of Amplitude 5. Well, not really part of Amplitude 5. It kind of works with Amplitude 5. It's a modeler, or it's a capture. It's all a bit confusing, so I'm not going to assume you know anything. I'm just going to start at the very beginning. So actually, this is ToneX. It's software that you can use to capture your amplifiers and store them on your computer. Use them in a DAW. Use them as a plugin. Use them wherever you want. And now, use them in a pedal that you can take with you. It creates these things called tone models, but don't be confused. Even though it says modeler up here, and when I click model, I can make these ToneX machine models. It's not a modeler like a Line 6 Helix or an Axifex. No, it's actually more like a Kemper or a QC. It makes sort of a picture of the amp at that state, and then it gives you this EQ. Don't be fooled either. This is just a skin to make it look like a Vox AC30. This is actually just a sort of a nice moldable EQ that I really like, but it's just a skin that you place on top of your capture. There's other skins in here as well too, and you can make it look like kind of whatever you're trying to capture. Now, I've been playing around with this 66 AC30 that I have. It's one of my favorite all-time amps. And if you follow this sort of confusing wiring diagram here, and yes, there's a couple places you can get tripped up. I'll make videos in the future about how to get really the best captures from this software, because I've learned a couple things. But it's surprisingly accurate. You can hear some difference there, and it's actually hard to tell what's difference in EQ, what's a little bit of leveling difference, and also every time you switch, the volume actually dips down and rises up very fast. I don't know if you can hear that. But the realism of these, the realism is incredible. Check these out. Okay, so that's ToneX. It's this highly accurate capture software that is really good. Like, the accuracy is really quite amazing. And they feel right. They feel juicy. You don't always get that with all the units, like with digital in general. These things feel lively. It really does feel like a mic'd up live amp. I hope that comes through. And there's all sorts of other cool stuff too. There's this thing called ToneNet. You can get on there and see all the captures that people are sharing online, including Tone Junkie. Check that out. I've made a bunch of really great captures available, and I have new stuff coming out every week for ToneX. So please follow Tone Junkie, check in on that. I'll have premium stuff on the website too, but there's a ton of free stuff, and you should go check it out and download it. Okay, so that's ToneX, the software. This is ToneX Pedal. And this pedal allows you to take all the functionality of that software with you and put it on your pedal board wherever you go. You have access to those same tone models. Here you see a very familiar EQ stack like we had in the software. And, we can scroll through and get to, we can get to any captures that we might want. Now it's very easy to get your captures, your tone models on the pedal. You just drag and drop. You can see me right here dragging and dropping my AC30 captures right where I want them. And I can set this up clean, OD, dirty. I can set it up as 3 different amps. I can do whatever I want. I have 3 settings right here, and of course I can bank up. Effects, well, there's just a couple. There's a noise gate, there's a compressor, and there's some reverb. In fact, in those clips you heard, it was all ToneX. It was just some reverb and some compression, and it's lovely. You can put the compression before or after. The reverb is really nice. But it's not a multi-effects unit. You access those controls by holding down the parameter button. You get a little alt symbol that appears right there. And now these are alternate buttons. So I'm controlling the reverb, the compressor, and that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're just back to the normal EQ. The pedal's very straightforward. It really does a great job at what it's designed to do. But it's not designed to do everything. And that's actually why it's such a genius invention. Look, I made the claim that this thing is going to change the world. Let me explain how it does that. ToneX is not a competitor for the Kemper, the Helix, the Quad Cortex, or Axe-Fx. It's really not even a competitor for the HX Stomp. Why? Because all of those are multi-effects units. With the exception of the Stomp, all of those are big. They're really meant to be all-in-one solutions. Now, of course, you can fit a Quad Cortex on your board and build a board around it. People do that with the Helix. They do that with the Kemper Stage. They do that with Axe-Fx, FM3. Of course, they do that, but those units are really designed to do a lot of heavy lifting. And because of their size, it's difficult to use them just as an amp and justify how much room they take up on a pedal board. So ToneX actually really competes with the Strymon Iridium, the Walrus ACS1, or either of the two kind of big, actually there's 3, UA pedals. And that's what makes ToneX interesting. ToneX is offering 150 amp models and 150 cabs in this size box for the same price as all of those units. Up until now, if you just wanted an amp box, not a multi-effects, not something that you had to build your whole rig around, but you have a pedal board that you love, like so many guitar players. You've got your favorite delay, your Big Sky, your Empress, you've got your Pog, you've got 3, a compressor and 3 like $1 million, a Klon, a KOT, like you've got all this stuff, right? And you run it into all these different amps. In the past, if you wanted a pedal to be your amp, you really had to choose between utility pedals. The Strymon Iridium and the ACS1 give you what you need. A Fender, a Vox, a Marshall, and not really any one in particular. Yes, it gives you an AC30 and a Deluxe, but kind of a nondescript Marshall. Even the UA pedals make you choose. It's got to be a 65 Deluxe, not a Dual Showman, not a Twin, not a Super Reverb. Yes, you can change the IRs, but those things really make you compromise. You have to go with one of those platforms. ToneX is offering you basically any amp in the world. And that's a lot more how we actually, as guitar players, live with analog amps. What about a matchless Spitfire? What about a matchless Laurel Canyon? What about a Benson? What about a Gibson Skylark from the 60s that you discover at a pawn shop? What about a Bad Cat Cub 2? What about a Bad Cat Cub 4? What about an old Marshall 18 watt or a new Marshall DSL or an Astoria? What about any of those amps? How are you going to get them in just that little pedal? The ToneX offers you the ability to put this on your board. It's your amp. You plug it in, and anytime you want, because I can capture it, you can capture it, anybody on ToneNet can capture it, you can get any Fender from 1965. I have that available for all the for most units on the 65 collection. Soon it'll be on this. Do you want my AC30, my AC15, my AC10? Do you want my collection of Marshalls? Do you want my Purple Plexi? How about one of my train wrecks? Do you want some of my Dumble clones? I have a John Mayer Silver String Singer clone, a clone of his Dumble, clone of his ODS. I've got just ODS 183, ODS 164, ODS 126. Like, I have clones of all those things. You can play every one of them. The Strymon Iridium, Walrus, the UA pedals, they won't sound like Eddie Van Halen. This can. You can sound like Eddie with just this pedal. Now, sure, you're still going to need a phaser. You're still going to need the other stuff, but this can do the SLO. It can do a vintage Marshall. It can do a vintage Marshall on a Variac. I mean, it can do anything that you can wire up in the real world. This thing will capture. Finally, the box is available for guitar players who have pedal boards, who say, I want to go direct, but I want any sound that's out there. I want all of the flexibility of digital without compromising and having less choice than analog amps. And that is, I think, the reason why I'm not sure why you would buy another pedal over this, especially when this thing costs the same as all those pedals. They're pricing this thing at $399. And you know what it comes with? It comes with ToneX Max, the software, the Max version, which is like, I think, $150 by itself. Plus, that means they're giving you 1,050, I think, captures that they've made. Like, they bought a Dumble from Joe Bonamassa. They have a bunch of old amps. Now, I'm not a huge fan of all the stock captures, I'll be honest. I don't really know what goes through all these companies' heads. There are a lot of good ones, but there's a lot of ones where I'm just like, I don't know. That's not how my AC30 sounds. You know what I'm saying? And it's the choice of style, and maybe it's going for a more Brian May, and I'm going for more of an edge thing. I respect that. I can't see how everyone doesn't buy one of these if you want a pedal to go direct. I don't know why you'd choose one of the other ones. Like, I'm telling you, this thing feels really good. I would have a hard time if someone said, oh, I'm playing the UA and it blows this out of the water. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And the UA sound great, but this thing feels juicy. It really does. Like, this is going to take the church market by storm, because how about a Chieftain? And then next week, a Nighthawk. And then the week after that, an AC30. And then the week after that, like a Deluxe. And the week after that, like a Super. And the week after that, like a Benson. And the week, I mean, you could literally get everything. I don't know how this thing doesn't blow up. All right, so like I said, thank you to Vintage King. They got me this unit. I hope they don't want it back. I already put my captures on it. If not, I'll buy it from them. But IK sent me a bunch of stuff. They sent me several ToneX pedals, and I hope Vintage King lets me keep that one, because that means I can give all these away. And cool, ToneX pedals and ToneX capture. I'm going to give all these away. What do you have to do to get signed up? All you got to do is go to ToneJunkieStore.com, click on the ToneX button, link down in the description, and you will be entered to win these if you sign up for the Tone Junkie email list for ToneX. Why do I want your email? I want to send you cool free stuff. And you know what else is going to be there right when you sign up? The very first Tone Junkie capture pack is free. It's the 66 AC30 that you saw there. I put 3 of the captures up on ToneNet free for everybody. But I put all the other ones, the bright channel, the normal channel, the vibrato channel, all those, and the free ones. They're all up there, and so the whole pack's free, kind of for a limited time. So go sign up for those emails, and I'm gonna send a bunch of free stuff whenever I make capture packs. There'll be some free ones in there as long as you're signed up for the emails, and you're gonna get a chance to win one of these. Who wouldn't want one of these? I've been HW.